welcome to the Story Corner. I'm Kesta, chief storyteller around here, and if you like a good book, you have come to the right place. Now today I am going to be reading to you from the second book in Carole Poustie's trilogy, and this one is called In the Dark. Here it is. Now, you may recognise this character. He is from Doggone, the first book, which I read the first chapter of, and there's a recording of it in the Story Corner on a different page. So feel free to check that out first if you haven't done already. But if you have, and if you've read it, then you will be interested to hear from the second one. The second one, in my opinion, is perhaps even more exciting than the first one. So let me read to you from the back cover so you know what you're in for. I pulled the letter out of my pocket and looked at Grandpa's writing. I should give it to Mum. It was hers after all. But how could I? I'd have to admit going down into the cellar. Now that I'd come this far, I'd have to read what he said. I stood in the moonlight and began to read. A forbidden foray into an old cellar leads Ish to unearth a startling discovery. When he opens his late grandpa's undelivered letter to Mum, Ish is sucked into a vortex of secrets and lies, and one unexpected truth. Now he must live with the consequences. This is a story about a boy who writes poetry to make sense of the world and learns that in the face of loss, treachery and deceit, love is what matters. So let's get on with the story. I'm going to read to you the first few pages. Chapter 1. Crap decisions mostly result in crap consequences. I should know. My sister never goes along with my ideas. Even if she were about to plummet off the edge of the Niagara Falls in a canoe and I happened to be flying past in a rescue helicopter, yelling at her through a megaphone to grab onto the lifeline dangling underneath it, she, more than likely, would come up with a reason not to. Which is why it was a miracle she said yes about the car. This was shaping up to be the best summer holiday. Mum, Molly and I had just arrived at Gran's, up near the Murray, my favourite place in the world. I was set for 5 fantastic weeks of fishing every day and generally hanging out with my dog Lucky by the river. Molly might join me for a swim in the afternoons, but for the rest of the time she wouldn't be a bother, as she'd hired a shipping container to transport all the books she intended to read up here. Okay, that was a slight exaggeration. Molly and I were also going to visit Dad in Sydney. This, however, involved squishing into his minuscule one-bedroom apartment. But Dad had booked the Harbour Bridge climb. I have to say this benefit significantly outweighed the substantial pain of coexisting in such close proximity to my sister for a whole week. The car opportunity was perfect timing. Mum had taken Gran to Sellview shops to stock the pantry. Gran and Mum were both the type to bail up a stranger and tell them their life history. Come on, Mo, it's more than 2 years before I can go for my L's. You've had 3 driving lessons already. So? Well, Mum and Gran won't be back for hours. Show me how to work the gears, that's all. They're different on Gran's old bomb. Molly went back to reading. She was into her second book already. If you show me, I'll do your share of the dishes for the whole time that we're on holiday at Gran's. Okay then. Too easy. Way too easy. I just agreed to do double dishes for 5 weeks. How does my sister do that? Gran's car was parked in the carport. After about 5 gear crunches, I managed to find reverse and ease my foot onto the accelerator. The car lurched backwards, then lurched again as I was getting the hang of the clutch. Okay, Ish, put your foot on the brake now. A bit further, Moll. I've only just gone a couple of metres. No, that's enough. You'll be out on the street. Oh, come on, Molly. I'm making some room. I want to change up to second on the way back to the carport. No way, Ish. You can't get up to second gear in a driveway. That's not the road. Hit the brakes. Now. I am braking. Nothing's happening. Well, hit them harder, you idiot. Why did my sister have to say that? She was always calling me an idiot. I lifted my foot off the stupid brake and slammed it back on to the accelerator pedal. Ish, stop! We're going to hit the pole! Gran's car zoomed out of the driveway and across the road. By some miracle, no cars were coming and no one was walking along the footpath. By another miracle, I managed to slam on the brakes just in time. We stopped centimetres from the pole. Quick, moron! Drive back up into the carport before someone sees us! Molly was yelling at the top of her voice, looking up and down the street as if she was watching a tennis match. Mum and Gran could be back from the shops any minute, and if the police hear about this, my learner's permit will be history. I put my foot on the clutch and tried to change gears. The car made a terrible grating sound. Come on, hurry up! Molly was bouncing up and down on her seat. I pushed the clutch in again and jiggled the gear stick. Finally, it shifted into position. I put my foot on the accelerator pedal and drove forwards. Then I must have turned the wheel. We missed the driveway and bumped up over the curb and onto the nature strip. I took my foot off the accelerator and for a second time my mind went blank. I didn't know what to do. When I tried to hit the brakes, it was too late. There was an awful clank under the car, then a gushing sound, as if we were sitting on top of a fountain. I couldn't believe my eyes. Water started spurting out around our feet. It shot up through little holes in the bottom of Gran's car, in places where the carpet had worn thin and you could see through to the rusted metal. You've run into the fire hydrant! I can't believe it! The fire hydrant! Get out of the car! I didn't argue. Molly slid across to the driver's side and after a few gear crunches backed off the nature strip and onto the street. As the car moved off the hydrant, water shot up into the air like a geyser. It reached above the power lines and sprayed out onto the other side of the road into Gran's and all the neighbouring gardens. It was spectacular. And I was shitting myself. And that is the end of the first little section of the book. I hope you've enjoyed it and I hope you're intrigued and want to read a bit more. As I said, it's a really exciting book, so you can get hold of a copy online or ask for it at your local bookshop, or perhaps just go to the local library and you'll be able to borrow it there. I hope you've enjoyed it. And as a little bit of information, inside information from the author, from Carole Poustie, she tells me that she's in the process of writing book 3, so there's something else to look forward to. Anyway, as I said, hope you enjoyed it and I will see you next time. Bye for now.